My name is Gloria Oddo. I'm Assistant Project Officer at ACE, and today I'm going to run this presentation together with my colleague Larissa De Rosso, Assistant Project Officer as well. So we're going to give an overview on the European projects in which ACE is involved as a partner. So as you can see from the timeline, we have 9 projects ongoing. 7 were founded by the H2020 framework and 2 are Erasmus+. So from the eldest we have RenoZeb, AAA Reno, BeamSeed, which is one of the 2 Erasmus+ projects, BeamSpeed, Icaro, the second Erasmus+, Beam for EEB, DigiPlace, Drive Zero, and finally Culturally. Next slide, please. Okay, as you can see here, we just try to underline the scope of the project. So first scope, it's education. Icaro and BeamSeed, as I just said, are Erasmus+ programs. In particular, Icaro has the objective to train a new generation of construction site technicians. Is developing a new qualification scheme, while BeamSeed is developing 12 learning units using Beam to achieve NZEB, nearly zero energy buildings. These learning units are available and suitable for architects, architecture students, and construction actors in general. Second scope of the project, it's Beam. So apart from BeamSeed, we have Beam for EEB and BeamSpeed, which are that are sister projects. So they share the same objective of developing Beam tools to speeding up the renovation process. Although each project is approaching this topic with a different methodology, Third scope, it's digitalization, represented here by the project DigiPlace, which aims to create a digital framework for the construction sector in Europe. Fourth scope, NZEB and plus energy buildings, in particular RenoZeb, is creating active architectural facades for deep renovation. AAA Reno stands for attractive, acceptable, and affordable deep renovation, and is doing this by using a user-centered approach. And finally, Culturally, is approaching plus energy buildings, taking into account cultural and climatic habits all over Europe. And finally, last scope of the project is circular economy, here represented by the project Drive Zero, which stands for driving decarbonization through circular renovation, which means applying the circular economy principles to the built environment. Another thing to be mentioned about Drive Zero is that it was, although it's 1 year old only, this project was already mentioned in the Renovation Wave Strategy, one of the latest documents released by the European Commission, as one of the best H2020 projects that are trying to industrialize the renovation process. Area 1, access to the profession. As you can see here, all the projects are mentioned because they are all trying to contribute to the continuous professional development with webinars, with training, with free tools to use for architects. We will see this later on in the next slides. Area 2, practice of the profession. Here we highlighted the BEAM projects because of course they can be interesting for the BEAM work group. And in BIM Speed, specifically, we are going to organize an architectural competition next year. So this could be interesting for all the for all architects. And then we have DigiPlace, which is about digitalization. So it will influence the practice of the profession as for the BIM projects. And finally, Icaro. It's beside of the construction site technician qualification scheme. It's also about, he also wants to make the construction sector more inclusive and gender balanced. So this could be an interesting topic for the Women in Architecture work group. Area 3, achieving quality in the building environment. Here we underline all the projects related somehow with the environment and sustainable architecture. So Drive Zero, as previously mentioned, with the circular renovations. Instead, the BIM projects, Reno, ZEB, and AAA Reno, they are all trying to achieve NZEB renovation, although with a different approach, a different methodology. And finally, culturally, with an even more ambitious, with an even higher ambition to achieve plus energy buildings. That's all from my side. I give the floor to my colleague Larissa.
Hi, hello. So I'm here to present the benefits of the project for the members. And in this first slide, I will talk about the digital tools developed by the project so far. I will highlight 3 projects, BIM Implement, which has just finished, HinoZep, and BIM for EEB. In BIM Implement, the partners developed a BIM object library called BIM Catalog for Constructive Elements, currently only in Spanish. In HinoZep, the partners have developed 5 tools to assist the design of HinoZep facade, the simulation of energy savings, and the collaboration between the professionals involved in the renovation project. Finally, in BIM for EEB, the partners are developing a BIM management system connected to 6 tools that are going to facilitate the building renovation. I wouldn't go deep in the tools. You can find more information in the project website as well. I would also like to highlight the trainings that the project have delivered in the past year. So HinoZep project delivered a Train the Trainer session for ACE member last October. It was an online live session with the project partners, and they receive useful feedbacks to improve the tools and the facade system from our members. And I would like to highlight BIMZEED as well. BIMZEED has launched today the Train the Trainer program. It is a free online learning program, and the trainers will be trained and can provide also feedback for the learning material improvement. We also do a lot of events and webinars in the project, in-person events before COVID, and now more webinars after the COVID outbreak. I would like to highlight 3 of them. There are 3 projects. The BIM Implement ran 2 webinars on the BIM application in the construction site for improvement of building quality. And BIM Implement also made a webinar introducing the BIM catalog that I present previously, but it's again only in Spanish. BIM for EEB ran a webinar presenting the BIM management system and the 6 tools that I mentioned previously as well. And finally, DigiPlace ran a webinar targeting only architects. And the title of this webinar was, Are the Architects Ready for Digitalization? I would like also to say that yesterday we ran our latest webinars were from BIM Implement and AAA. So yesterday in BIM Implement webinar, we presented the competition that will be running 2021 and the tools and methodologies that can be applied to the competition. And in AAA webinar, we introduced the combined labeling scheme that the project has developed. And all the recordings of these events will be available. and we will keep you informed in our social media channels and our newsletters as well. So finally, the projects have done some publications as well. The first one, it was a publication in Buildings and Cities journal about, and it recommended skills levels for architects regarding the NZEB construction and retrofitting. The second one presents the results of a survey on teaching the value of architecture. And the third one is an article in the German magazine Baumeister with the title, Being Standards in EU, Who Stands Up for the Interest of the Architects? This one is available in German only. So last but not least, I would like to talk a little bit about next steps for the EU project team. Right now, Being Speed is running a survey on the level of BIM implementation across Europe. The survey is translated in 19 languages. So if you want the communication material in your language to give to your members, please contact us. Being Speed will be also doing EU BIM renovation competition in June 2021 and a train the trainer session on the Being Speed tools and methodologies in April 2021. Cultural E will run a series of interviews with architectural practices that have design plus energy buildings in order to collect best practices in the field. And also we will launch a podcast called The Architects in EU Research. In this podcast, we interview architects that are part of European projects, and we try to answer the question, what is the added value of EU-funded research projects to architectural practice? Finally, we are also working in a new area at ACE website to include all training materials from the projects that ACE has been participating so far. So here, if you want more information about the project, here it's where you can find our webpage inside ACE webpage. And I would like to thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, please contact us. You will be provided this presentation afterwards with the links for all the content I mentioned. Thank you very much.